it's Mama C, and it's time for your Married at First Sight New Zealand Season 3, Episode 13 recap. And, oh, before I forget, no, this is natural. It's not like it's just natural. I earned every one of these gray hairs myself. Well, I mean, I had help from my 30-year-old daughter, my 25-year-old son, and the 15-year-old boy. So they've all had a hand in creating this hair color. So I guess you can thank them for it if you like it. Except for the blue, which my friend and I added because we're silly. But no, yeah, that's all completely natural. So hopefully that got that out of the way. Yeah. You too can have gray hair. Just have children. It's great. And a husband, because that helps too. Alright, so on with the recap. Last time you recall, we had the recommitment ceremony. There were shocks. Jimmy and Carmen had said stay. Jono had said no, like get me out of here. But Ray had said stay, which was stupid. So we had to deal with that. Rose and Chris, they called it a day, but they parted as friends. Vicky and Stefan said stay, even though Vicky was kind of broke up about the fact that, you know, Stefan mucked up and, you know, all that stuff he said with the boys. Anna and Jordan said stay, but remember Anna's question mark had Jordan a bit, you know, he was a bit stressed out about that. Well, tonight we're going to have home visits. Carmen and Jimmy, you know, they discuss about how they feel about visits. And Carmen's just glad to get away from the other couples. I mean, at the end of the day, the drama was just too much. And yeah. And it's good for them to get out into more of a situation where that would actually be like, you know, the fact that home, you know, Jimmy's house or her house or whatever, and how they live in the real world. So yeah, anyway. So Vicky is still hurting about the commitment ceremony words that were said by Stefan, and he realizes he mucked up, and you know he's hoping to get things back on track. They seem positive, but you know. Ray and Jono. Ray asks if Jono's nervous. Jono says, well, should I be? Ray gives us his BS story about not getting to know him and blah blah blah. And Jono says he's wondering if he'll see a softer side to him, but then Ray still thinks Jono is two different people. So it's like he's basically calling him two-faced, and it's like I think he just like he wants to rub his face into something. I don't know, or he wants to get him in front of his friends because he knows his friends are going to bash him. Because that's the kind of person I get the feeling he is. Let's face it, he never accepts responsibility for anything he's done. He's always got an excuse. And I think he really just wanted Jono to be basically verbally abused by his mates. I'm just saying. Anyway, so Anna is hoping to move forward. Jordan hopes she learns to deal with things that may come up, you know, without running, you know, because that's been her MO. Jordan tries on one of Anna's pantsuits. You can see nooks and crannies. It's not a look I would go out in public in, but it sure gave us a good laugh. Alright, first off, Anna and Jordan, they visit her family in Cambridge. She can see her puppy, and he's a cutie. Jordan says they are in a really good place. James and Carmen, they go to Christchurch, to Jimmy's place. Carmen suspects that Jimmy's mom had a hand at cleaning up things a bit. They play some darts, and what happens when Jimmy and Carmen play games? They make wagers. And when they make wagers, someone has to win and someone has to lose. And this time, well, if Carmen had won, Jimmy was going to have to wear her clothes to the pub. Carmen lost, so she had to drop her clothes and go jump in a pond down the road that was gross and had scum and duck poo and blah, and she did it. She did it. Ugh. But see, okay, here's the thing. Jimmy, when you knew she was going to do it, after she stripped down her clothes, why didn't you say, nah, it's okay? Why? Why didn't you do that? And then she does it, and then you're like afraid to touch her because you're like afraid you're going to get typhoid or something. But you sent her in there, you goof. What a goober. Anyway. Ugh, oi. I can't believe she did it. I mean, he seemed pleased that she immersed herself in duck crap. and scum, she didn't welch on her bed. And I gotta say, good on her. But she even says, next time she has got to be smarter about it. And she's gotta win. Because let's face it, it's way better when she wins. Because remember the whole Jimmy running stalkers into the ocean in Fiji? That was fun. And he doesn't seem to mind. And it was not scummy and gross either. So he looked out there. Alright, Vicky, she introduces Stefan to her friends and her dad, or she knows she's going to do that later. Vicky said her dad wasn't real keen on doing the experiment, so she's a bit nervous. Excuse me. Ray and Jono go to Jono's place in Mount Eden, and it's weird and awkward at first. You know, they're supposed to hang out with his mates. But he says they're really busy. Now that's code for I've already told my friends about you and they think you're a dick, so they don't want to meet you. So that's what that really means. Yeah. So anyway, so he makes Ray a coffee. Jono says it's weird showing him his realness, but it's relaxing. Ray says it's more relaxing. Blah, blah, blah. Jono asks Ray about his friends, if they'll like him. And Jono says partying is something he likes to do, but not every night. Well, you knew that if he brought up the drinking, that Ray was going to get mad. So, of course, his hackles go up. And the back and forth starts, and I think, ah, shit. It's going to be a long week, eh? Ugh, oi. Yeah, I still think... people need to take a look at their drinking habits. Seriously. Alright. Excuse me a moment. So, Car Jam go to meet Jimmy's friends again since the wedding. Jimmy says he's one of the tamer friends in his group, so you kind of think, these boys must be off the chain, right? The boys throw out the hard questions. Where do you want to live? She says, not Auckland. After almost 4 weeks, they say, do you love her? He says he really likes her. There's good banter between all of them and the boys. And she says when Jimmy goes off to get beverages, she kind of says, well, he's a bit PDA and da-da-da-da. But, I mean, it was nothing terrible. But they did Jimmy jokes about her throwing him under the bus. But, I mean, at the end of the day, she didn't really throw him under the bus. And his family, they come to visit, and she and Jordan, they chat with them. Her family really likes Jordan. Anna tells us that she still hasn't told her mom about that sex tape. I know, right? And she plans to do it the next day because, I mean, let's face it, she doesn't want her mom to find out on TV, right? No. So she's got to tell her before it hits the TV. Jimmy and Carmen, they visit with his parents. Jimmy's dad says Carmen's parents are wonderful people. Carmen says he's been looking after her just fine because, his dad asked that. And his parents seem hopeful and say, they're going to have to start making the hard decisions. Yeah. Ray and Jono, they cook together. They seem to be having fun. There's some banter. Ray says it's been the best day since they've met. They think being out of the experiment environment is helpful. They say their views don't align, but no, that's okay. They hope the next few days are just as friendly. Anyway, okay, Vicky and Stefan, they get together with their friends. They're both nervous. They tell her friends things have been complicated. Stefan meets her dad, and Stefan says her dad is very welcoming. And her friends ask, is it going to last? And like her friend said, her first impression of him was that he was young and awkward. And now her impression of him is that he's still young and awkward. Bless his heart. But I mean, that's... At the end of the day, the experts should not have put someone with so little dating experience into this. I mean, they really should have thought about poor Vicky. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to have to teach a guy how to be a partner. No. But I suppose they thought it'd be good TV, so I'm sure producers probably pushed him into it, even though they probably said, oh, he doesn't have enough experience. So I'm sure they probably got pressured into it from producers. That's just my opinion. But, that's... They seem to be trying to go down a shade path, and I don't like that. Because if you watch the Married at First Sight, in America, it's a way, I mean, it's really, literally more of an experiment. It's not all this crappy he said, she said. I'm just saying. It's different. Whereas here it's like after they did the whole crap thing with Australia's Married at First Sight, the partner swapping out stuff. It's kind of like, yeah. So that's why, I said at the beginning of this season, if they pull that same crap with New Zealand's, I'm done. And, we've had some conversations, me and some of the other viewers and that, about this. And it's like, we don't want to see this drama BS. We want to see, is it actually going to work? And see people actually try and not just go into it for being on TV, or whatever. Because like the whole thing with Anna, and her sex tape and those photos, how much you want to bet those producers thought, oh, drama. But at the end of the day, most Kiwis are like, we're not going to blame her because something her ex-boyfriend twat ass did to her. We're not judgy like that. So I hope that they can stop trying to be that, because we don't want that. We just want to see people try to make it. God, it's hard enough in this world without throwing other shit in the way, isn't it? I'm right. I am. Alright, so let's get back to this. Alright, sorry, where were we? I lost my place. So yeah, like I was saying, poor Vicky and all that, and her friends saying, he's, poor Stefan, he's still young and naive and awkward. Alright, so Anna then tells her mom about the sex tape. She obviously doesn't want her to find out by watching television. Fair enough. Of course, her mom is shocked, and she has a weak cry. Because that's her mom. And at the end of the day, she just worries because that's her baby girl, and she doesn't want her baby girl to get hurt. She doesn't want people judging her. She doesn't want people, giving her a hard time, because at the end of the day, like I said, the whole sex tape thing was not her fault. She was in a relationship with someone. She trusted that person, and that person basically screwed her over by doing that, by giving that tape out to his friends. So I just hope she realizes that there's no judgment here. So, alright. Anywho, so yeah, of course, mom's going to be supportive because that's her baby girl. Alright, so Vicky's mom, I love her. Vicky's mom asked Stefan if he's in love. Because remember, he did say he loved her that one time in the car. We have subtitles to prove it. And then, he says, well, it's too soon for that. Which is so weird, because why would he say that? Unless that's the inexperienced talking, right? Then Vicky's mom, she says the day after the wedding, she sort of equated this whole experiment as like Stockholm Syndrome. Oh my god, that was hilarious. It's so hilarious. She's like, the kidnapper and then the kidnappee, it's like they're forced to be together, so they bond. She is a hoot. I loved her. That was great. But anyway, so that, they have a bit of a laugh about that, Jimmy then, he takes Carmen out to a winery for some food and some wine, and they discuss, the moving situation. Jimmy asks her if she wants to continue after this. She says, yes, of course. And then he says, would you move here? And she says it's definitely an option. And if he wants it, she would say yes. And he says, would they live together or separately? Of course, they ponder on this, and we don't really get any answer, because obviously that's a huge question, right? But at the end of the day, I think Carmen wants Jimmy to be the one to ask her to stay or to move to Christchurch. I really do. At the end of the day, she, as a woman, she needs that. She needs him to say, I want you to come here. I want to be with you. And I think he's just trying to play it way too cool. And I don't know. Hopefully, though, he'll get that. And yeah, I hope it works, because the two of them, they're a fun couple. I think they're a fun couple. And between them and Anna and Jordan, I think that's the only shot we've got for a couple to last this season. Of course, I don't know. I mean, they're young, and you hope for the best. So, but I sure hope that they can try to find a happy medium A. Oh, then we have to go back to Ray and Jono. They made up with some of Jono's friends. Ray says they've had rocky parts. Jono says the whole bloody thing has been rocky. Jono then has to recount the hooking up thing, the 4:30 a.m., the guy coming in the house, da-da-da-da, Ray's drinking. Yeah. So then Ray says, I've only been out 3 times. And then Jono says, that is a lie. Lie. So Natasha, Jono's friend, says that they're like an old married couple who are arguing a lot. And she says they can't even agree on facts. Ray says if they can move forward and end this with friendship, blah, blah, blah. I don't care, so I don't really listen to what he says because I don't care. But, it's like we say, do it on your own time. You want to be friends? Go work at that on your own time. Don't waste our viewing time. We don't want to see you guys work on your friendship. We don't care. Because from the get-go, Ray hasn't even been nice to Jono, and just, we're over it. That's all I'm saying. So, done. Finito. Call it a day. So anyway, Jordan then takes Anna to Foxton to meet his family. Anna says they're sweet. He shows her his man cave with his car shell, because remember, he's a racer. So apparently, like at the end of the season, they strip the car all down and put it away, and then the new season, then they build a new one. So that was cool. And Anna's pleased. She says they both have their passions. His is racing, hers is music, and they're both very driven. And that's cool to see that they're both very driven people. Carmen takes Jimmy to her family home. Jimmy says she's a bit of a hippie. She says, nah. And then we realize that Jimmy doesn't know what a dream catcher is. So Carmen's going to have to Google that for him. Then Jimmy, he starts digging through her drawers. Jimmy. Well, he gets a little taste of something he didn't want to see because he starts to find pictures of ex-boyfriends. So after he'd had a gutful of that, he decided to put them away. And then he makes the crack that she's done a step up with him. He's such a goof. Alright, so Stefan takes Vicky to his parents' house in Palmy. And they seem like lovely people. They really do. She meets his grandparents. Stefan's mom asks, the moving question. But, they say, and as we already know, that it's way too soon to think about that. And it's never going to happen. Never. Just let it go. Never going to happen. Alright, so then Jimmy meets Carmen's family. Carmen says that she sees a lot of similarities between their families. And then the question comes out, Jimmy, do you want kids? And everybody just kind of like, oh. But they all laugh and they say it's a bit soon. Let's face it, it's only been, what, about 4 weeks? Nobody wants to talk about having kids after not even 4 weeks. But, I don't know, maybe they just meant in general, I don't know. But I can totally see Jimmy being a dad, eh? Yeah, I can totally see him being a dad. He'd be one of those goofy dads, eh? Alright, anyway, they all have a bit of a laugh over it. Anna meets Jordan's family. She shares her news with his family about the sex tape, and oh my god, my heart just really poured out to her at this point. Because she was so nervous. But, and she tells them, and she says how Jordan's been very supportive, and, at the end of the day, his mom says, she respects her for telling her, and, Jordan's relieved. And like I said earlier, everybody does stuff that maybe you're not pleased about, but at the end of the day, it's not her fault that her twat of an ex put it out there. So, just remember that. Yeah. Alright, so Vicky, she says her gut feeling is that she doesn't think it's going to work. Stefan seems confused, which, fair enough, Stefan, but, you said I love you, and then you said you wouldn't have feelings for her, and, now it's just, we're all a bit confused, mate. We're all a bit confused. Alright, Ray and Jono, they both now realize it's not going to work. Dun! Oh, no kidding. Wow, I'm so glad you guys finally were able to sort that out. Ray brings up, do you want to have the leave conversation? And Jono says enough's enough, and they agree to call it quits, and everybody's happy. We're all happy at my house. Jono's, he says he kind of feels a bit like he failed. But, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, that's normal, but it's not your fault, mate. Anyway, just be relieved. I'm relieved it's over for you. You should be relieved it's over for you. Everyone is relieved it's over. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Alright, so Jono was so giddy with happiness, he did a little dance. And I did it with him. Yay. So that pretty much wrapped up the episode for last night. So tonight I am stressed though because Carmen's gonna be crying. What the hell is going on? When everybody's getting upset, we hear Vicky storming out, assuming she's calling Stefan a dick. I don't know, but I guess we'll find out, eh? So yeah, I think this is it though, because this is our last week. And so we'll be wrapping it up, and and then soon we can send the kids back to school, eh? Alright guys, hope it's been a good one for you, and we'll see y'all again for the next Married at First Sight New Zealand Season 3 recap. I'm Mama C.